Hey folks, Jim here, producer of Around the House Show. You're loving the audio tips right now, but here's something new. Our full-length episodes and expert interviews are now on YouTube as video, so you can watch the demos, tool close-ups, and guest interviews, or just hit play and listen like a regular podcast. Just search Around the House Show on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button, and turn on notifications. It's free, and you'll get the best of both worlds, visual how-tos when you want them, audio when you're on the go. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app too. Thanks. And now back to the show.
Everybody stop what you're doing, please!
When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is no better show on your radio. This is Around the House with Eric G.
Where's the hammer?
From your back fence to the sidewalk, Eric will tell you how to keep it all in tip-top shape while helping you save a buck while doing it. If you like DIY projects, it takes a lot of practice to get good at it, and Eric is here to guide the way.
Is it on the... Go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering.
All that and more on the fastest 2 hours of home improvement radio.
These are the wrong plans. These are the old plans. Oh.
Welcome to
Stop it!
Around the House with Eric G.
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G. This is where we talk home improvement every single weekend. Thanks for joining us. Hey, hit us up on Facebook, Around the House with Eric G. And make sure and hit our website, aroundthehouseonline.com. We've got a special guest on the line here in the studio, my buddy Eddie Uyeta from Uyeta Landscaping. Welcome back to Around the House, brother.
Thanks, Eric. How's it going?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
See that you're starting to get kind of, last time we talked, you were kind of in that bad position of not being able to work, but I see that you guys are starting to be able to get things dialed back up again.
Yeah, the governor's kind of been nice to us, or at least our industry, as of late. So landscaping is a thumbs up, and we're going out there hitting it hard because we're behind.
Yeah, and just like any project, and especially with landscaping, when you get behind, it takes a lot of work to get that pulled back in together, because it's not just as simple as getting on top of it once. You've got some continued maintenance to get things turned around.
Yeah, it's not as simple. Well, it seems like it's simple when the grass is, longer than it used to be. But once you go out there and try to mow it down, in its simplest form, now you got to cut it twice just to make it, back to where it was. And then it's all yellow. And now you got to, wait for it to get green again.
Yeah.
It's just landscaping, and it's not really, rocket science stuff. But Mother Nature is relentless. She don't give up.
Oh, man. I've been working on my house, and it was neglected for about 12 or 14 years before we moved into it, because it had some people in there, and it's been fun because, my house, just as a residential example, it had grass, it had a bunch of stuff, and it had been a rental for 12 or 14 years. And when you're a rental for 12 or 14 years and you're in the woods, so, we're 80% tree cover, and things go back to nature.
They do, and then that's a perfect opportunity for me, because then I like to bring my excavator in there and we just start from scratch.
Oh, I know it.
Sometimes it's not worth clipping everything back down to the ground again, because it's going to look like what it looks like. So you might as well just start over and get the heavy equipment out there. And we redo stuff if it's been that long.
Yeah. It's been fun, though, because we've been finding this spring, you find those bushes and stuff that we trimmed stuff back last winter when we moved in. It was like, okay, we know this is overgrown. I don't care if this is a beautiful tree or not that's overgrown. I still got to get some stuff, just some sense of organization with it. So we did some just rough trimming and stuff back just to make it look like somebody actually cared for the place. And this spring, when it started coming back, it's been, we've been finding it's like, oh, wow, look at those ferns. I mean, I've got probably 40 ferns around here in the yard and the landscaping around that are gorgeous. They're, just awesome ferns, and they fit in well with everything. but we just keep finding things like that, you know. It's purple
Yeah.
roadie, awesome, you know.
It's a good surprise too. Yeah, I'm not saying you got to nuke everything that you come across that's 15 years old, but yeah, that's where we come in and say, save this, take that out, save that. Because we know the value of certain types of plants and what they can do for you. We know that when we cut that tree or plant down to a certain size, we know it'll bounce back. We know the things that aren't going to bounce back, and we're going to take it out. So we're there to guide you through that process.
Oh, I've seen some really cool people that trim back a bush thinking it's going to come back, and it's just all dead wood and hardwood that's just butchered, and it's like, that ain't coming back, man.
No, and that's one thing about landscaping, though. You learn by doing.
Yeah.
And once you do it once, it's a great lesson. Well, I know that plant's not going to come back, so hey, I'm not going to trim it anymore. I'm just going to take it out.
Yep. Absolutely.
But, landscaping is forgiving in that sense that, hey, there's no rules and laws that says you can and cannot do certain things. So you just try it out. And
exactly.
That's how I learned over all these years. I just tried it out on places like yours. I didn't tell you I was trying something I didn't know. I just did it, and then, hey, wow, look at that. It came back, Eric.
Exactly. I've been doing that in my front yard, and it's coming back really good. I've already, I went in, and it was probably it was the grass that, and I say front yard, I mean, it's about the size of my living room because it's just my house is so far back on the property, but it's by the front door, and it's just this little patch of grass kind of between the driveway and the house, and I dove on it pretty early, hit it hard with the fertilizer, and raked 1,000 pine cones that were meshed down in the grass and that kind of stuff, and got it cleaned up and threw some seed in there. And now it's starting to look like a lawn again, and it gets enough sun that it makes it easy.
Yeah, and lawns are the biggest ground cover that most properties have. Yep. So it's one of the biggest pieces of ground cover that people see. It's like pulling up to the country club. Yep. What is it? It's just a ton of grass, but it's manicured, it's green, it's cut just right, it's got stripes on it. And so it's all a matter of, how much, you want to put into it. But to get that country club look, it just doesn't happen overnight, and it takes a lot of care. I mean, people have to understand that, there's a fertilizer routine that goes with it. There's a watering routine that goes with it. You got to have proper irrigation. You got to have thatch and aerate when you need to. You have to overseed it. There's a lot of care that goes into, making grass green, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm going to actually do a soil test on mine because I'm curious.
That's the first place I start when I come across a client that, grass is so important. The guys usually like grass, and the girls usually like the flowers. But the guys gotta have that perfect lawn.
Yep.
So the guys don't even care about one flower, but the grass has got to be perfect. And so we come in there, and first thing, you're spot on. Do a soil test first. Get the science behind it, and then you know what to add to the soils to make it, back up to where it should be for that particular type of grass that you're trying to grow. And, there's across the country, there's all different types of grass. So up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's mostly fescue and rye.
Yep.
And so we cater to, whatever fescue and rye like in the soil mix and the pH and, so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah. I know that my soil is acidic just because, of the lack of maintenance. And then on top of it, I've got the fir trees everywhere around here. So I know that just those needles dropping down and breaking down, that I know that soil naturally, to me at least, I'm going to assume that it's leaning on the acid side of things.
Yeah. And sometimes, you don't necessarily have to have a soil test every time. But what we do as part of our fertilizer program is we add lime every spring, right around in February. With our moss control. So we use iron for moss control, and we sweeten the soil with the pH. Not the pH, but we sweeten the soil with the lime.
There you go.
After every application, year after year after year, it kind of brings that up to, that neutral, between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So to speak. So it's kind of a built into our, landscape maintenance plan.
Well, and that's smart, especially when, and that's the thing, if you just get on that stuff, because what that does is that, and at least in my experience, is that lets the fertilizer actually do its job.
Yeah, exactly. Because they work together. And so if the pH is too high or too low, certain fertilizers won't release nutrients into the ground as quickly, and the soils and the plants won't be able to uptake it. So, grass is a plant.
Yep.
Every blade of grass is a plant. And so if you just don't get that combination right, you're always going to be fighting it. And then these days, with the smaller footprints of the lots, grass is maybe, real grass might not be the best way to go because, like I said, all the care it takes.
Yeah.
So we've been putting in a lot of artificial turf.
Let's talk about more about that here, Eddie, and we'll do that just as soon as Around the House returns. Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. This is where we talk home improvement every single weekend. Thanks for joining us. Hey, hit us up on Facebook, Around the House with Eric G. We're going to have some contests coming up here in a couple weeks, so I really want people to make sure you're following us on social media because we've got some fun stuff with some new partners out there. So make sure that you're dialed in there. Right now, we've got Eddie Uyeta, our buddy from Uyeta Landscape, who is our kind of outdoor maintenance care expert. Welcome back, brother, to Around the House.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Man, we were talking last segment about, getting that grass green, and getting that just dialed in, which is, of course, me being a guy is my stereotype 100%. But man, I tell you what, I do love artificial turf in some situations. And we were talking about that just for that lower maintenance. Of course, there's nothing out there that's no maintenance, but that lower maintenance out there, especially when it's hard places to grow and small lots you were talking about, you guys are doing a fair amount of that compared to what you probably did 5 years ago, I guess.
Well, it's growing a little bit more in popularity just because, there's a need for it. So instead of having real grass and the cost of ownership of that, it takes, it takes a lot of effort to keep it, that country club look. You can have that all in an artificial turf. The cost of putting it in might be a little bit more, but at the end, there's hardly any upkeep to it, and so it's pet friendly these days. Like I think you mentioned earlier, one of your buddies, they can go out and UV sanitize it now with the virus thing going on. It's great for small areas where why even bother buying a lawnmower when it's only 10 by 10 spot outside your condo door or something. We put some in for retirement homes because they like to putt.
Yep.
And we do putting greens. That's just well as just the natural turf, and the turf is actually kind of getting better. It's not that super sparkly, clean, green, perfect lawn anymore because that really looks like
plastic.
Like a plastic lawn.
Yeah.
But now they've got they got the thatch and the brown blades of grass in it, so it looks more natural, like it's the real thing. You can get it in different, heights. So, the length of the blades of grass, you could have it thicker, more cushy.
Yep.
If you like to go lay out there on that, or you can have it a little bit shorter, right down to, the putting greens.
Absolutely.
Golf. So it's a good alternative. I've seen it, on the tops of rooftop buildings.
Oh, it's great for that. I actually put it on the side of my house. So I've got an area out there that's probably, 10 by 20 that is fenced off because, we've got a fairly big lot and I didn't want the dogs to go outside and make a mess out of my backyard and use that as their perpetual large bathroom and have to chase that around. So we created a side yard and fence it off. And I put down turf out there like that. And, it is awesome. It's
the perfect dog run.
Yep.
It's easy to clean up after them, just scoops right up. And, it's easy peasy.
It's super easy peasy, and I don't have to get out there and deal with, because with dogs and with pets out in the grass, as a guy that loves the look of his lawn, it's brutal because those craters that the dogs cause, from going to the bathroom in the yard, I just always bothered me having those spots, and this was my cure for that.
Oh, I just thought of this. I think it keeps the moles at bay too. I don't think they can dig through that, that artificial turf, that carpet.
Oh yeah.
You got a lot of moles, It's like, hey, well, that just stops them right there.
That's a good one. Yeah, you're right, because there's and the moles love that healthy lawn, and since you've got turf down, you don't have to be fertilizing and doing all that other stuff out there. So your neighbor that's taking care of his lawn better is going to be more attractive to the moles.
That country club look, you're feeding the lawn with all its nutrients, and you got the right soils in there, and then they got plenty of worms and plenty of grubs, and here comes all your neighbors' moles right to your house because they don't, what you can't understand why aren't the moles doing my neighbor's yard? He doesn't do jack to it, but they're at your house because you do, and you're feeding them really good.
That's why you got to sneak over to the neighbor's house and fertilize it, clandestine in the middle of the night and make sure it's looking really good, because that way they stay over on his side of the things.
Yeah, you got to do something. Those things can be a problem at certain places. I don't care if you're in a residential or commercial place, they're around.
Man, I fought those. We've got I'm pretty good spot here because again, since I'm coming back and trying to get this place back into, I don't have the nicest lawn, so I'm not fighting those. So they're over at my neighbor's house. So I've got to find that natural balance where they stay there, and I don't attract them, so I can't get it too good.
That's right. Take it easy.
Yep. Let them be happy over there.
Don't forget the moles, but
exactly.
Grass is it's like I said, it's a big ground cover.
Yeah. So. Well, we've got a few more minutes here before we go out to break, but I wanted to talk about kind of what were your challenges here, kind of coming out of, the shutdown, going back to your normal clients that didn't have lawn care for a month or so, or 6 or 8 weeks, depending on. When you were out there, how is it going back and having to dive back into projects that maybe where, the grass was way higher than it should have been and the weeds hadn't been grabbed out of there in a couple months of the springtime?
But at least for our company, it hasn't been too bad. Yeah, the grass is a little bit longer, but not way like hay would be or something,
Yeah.
The weeds are a little bit taller. Most of our, clients are on, landscape maintenance programs. And so, I've had a little pushback with hey, you're gonna give me a refund here? And it's like
twice as much work on the back end.
Yeah, that's right. I put off the front end because I had to, but on the back end, I still got a lot of catch up to do.
Yeah.
And so I coined it that way, and sure enough, it does take a little bit longer, per visit, until we catch up. I've been working with our other clientele, especially in the hospitality industry, where they've got really hit hard, and I've helped them by changing their obligation to me by just reducing the amount of visits we go. Therefore, I can help them cut their bills a little bit.
Eddie, let's do that. Let's talk about the hospitality industry out there, and let's do that just as soon as Around the House returns.
This is Farewell Angelina, and you're listening to Around the House with Eric G.
Pour gold in this glass, 'cause that color red never looks so good, so good. Let's pour gold in this glass, 'cause that color
Welcome back to to Around the House with Eric G. This is your home improvement source every single weekend. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit us up on social media, Facebook, Around the House with Eric G, and the same thing for Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, everywhere you catch us out there. And if you missed part of the show, don't worry. It'll all be on the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, or when in doubt, hit us on the website, which is aroundthehouseonline.com. Well, we've got our friend back in the studio here calling in, Eddie Uyeta from Uyeta Landscape up in the Seattle market. Welcome back, brother, to Around the House.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. Well, we were talking here before we went out to break, and you started talking about, commercial stuff and the hospitality industry, and they've gotten hit so hard with stuff out there. And I mean, I there's a hotel over here that's got up the street from my house. It's on both sides of the road, and literally one side of the road is shut down because they just cut that whole wing of the hotel off, and you see that it's not being maintained. I know you did some of that stuff, as you were mentioning before, but then all of a sudden things are going to start picking up and you got to get back after it. What have you been working with people on that? Because I know it's a pretty complex problem to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody else's problem, but we're trying to be part of their solution from the landscape end. So yes, they got no customers. They got to cut back on services, and yeah, I've got places that are closing down, 4, 5, 6 floors, at a time because there's no need for them anymore. But from a landscaping perspective, you still have to keep a commercial property looking its best to attract, the customers. And
no question.
So we can't go for, we can't do the Nordstrom effect on them anymore. But maybe there's somewhere in between that and doing nothing, because doing nothing is not really an option. I don't think. And so I've been working with the hotel managers to let us on their properties for maybe half the time, and then
there you go.
Therefore I'll give you half. I'll cut your price in half. Just until we can get back rolling and all your rooms are getting filled again.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just going to look like an abandoned property because Mother Nature will start taking it over pretty quickly.
It does. And so it's not just the hotels, but it could be, the commercial strip malls kind of thing. They still got to be kept up. You still got to turn the irrigation on, and that's coming up here 1st of June for sure.
Yep.
We've activated them in March, but now they got to turn them on. You can't let all the plants die. That's an investment.
No kidding.
And so, and then industrial sites too that we take care of. People still go to those, manufacturing buildings.
Yeah.
Those people have to report to work. They can't they can't build chairs online. They have to go actually physically go down to the warehouse and build them.
Yeah.
With their own hands.
Yeah.
And so we still got to keep the place looking attractive, for them. And then we're trying to, some of those industrial buildings, they have common areas. They've got places where they, sit outside, smoke, or whatever they do. But there's common areas that we're trying to, keep, better clean for them. If we can get some disinfectant out there for some of those picnic tables and things. We're just trying to work with the owners and the property managers, from a commercial standpoint, try to put out, their fires.
No kidding. One of the ones that I see that I think, and I'm going to call out the commercial real estate people out there that I think that people are missing the boat on is I was out running around this weekend and I noticed some of the chain restaurants that's closed down in certain areas, and I'm not going to name any brand names out there, but there's some that have literally just closed down and they've emptied the building out and the sign's still out front, but you can tell that nobody's been there for 4 to 6 months maintaining the place, and it's starting to look like a jungle again. And it's going to be, when we hit summertime and it's not maintained, it's going to be a fire hazard.
Correct.
There's some of these things that it's like, man, you're not going to get the right client in there looking at that property if the outside of it looks like it hasn't been touched in a year.
I know. It's kind of it's a catch-22 for, if you're a building owner or a manager, you got no one to pay for the landscape services because you got no customers. You had to shut down. I don't have a good solution for that.
Yeah, it's just like maintenance on your house. It's the same kind of thing. If you don't take care of it, it's gonna degrade no matter what, every time.
That's right. Unless we, government seems to always keep working, so maybe we got to get some of those contracts.
That's it. There you go. Oh man, I don't know if you want that headache or not. To be honest, I'm sure, like everything with the government, it's going to have a paperwork nightmare associated with it.
That's right. Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
Once again,
you'll end up filling out more forms and spending time mowing lawns.
That's right. The one thing I like about lawns, they don't talk back to me.
There you go.
Plants don't talk back to me. That's why I like landscaping.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that you can see you go into a place and, your crew spends a few hours to, a few weeks remaking a place. And, that added curb appeal, the beauty of that and the art within it is super fun. And I love watching, I've seen some of your stuff that you've done up there, and from taking a very bland, almost, circa 1970s landscape, with the juniper bushes and some of that stuff, and you guys go in and clean that stuff up, and holy smokes, it changes the entire outside look of a home.
I think, back in the 70s, Kmart must have had a sale on junipers.
What happened? What happened with that?
Because every Rambler back then had junipers all over the place, and so. Oh,
and I hate those things.
I know it's part of our renovation is, we take a lot of those things out of there, and it's a curb appeal that I think a professional can do. I know we like to do a lot of our stuff ourselves, and it's kind of fun. But at the same time, when you get a professional in there, there's just a little bit, flair that goes into a landscape, or, if you're an architect, just a little bit more flair that goes into, that building, or, if you're a remodeler, you do just a little bit more in that kitchen that you wouldn't have thought of.
That is that secret. That is that secret.
Yeah.
That is that secret to having the best looking lawn in the neighborhood. That is what that is.
Just last week, I had some painters come in and help me paint, some of my rooms in my mom's house. Mm-hmm. And geez, they did it. They did it so fast. 2 guys for like 6 hours, and they did a bunch of rooms. It would have taken me like all week to do it myself. Between all the trips to the the box store to get all the supplies back and forth. It's like, God, that was money well spent, I thought.
It is. And
so it's an investment. So if you really do a good job from the get-go, that investment lasts a long time. Good classic design, just like in architecture, it doesn't get old, because it's a good design to begin with. It's not a fad, It's not a fashion thing that doesn't, it doesn't change every year. A good design stands the test of time.
And that's what I actually tell people, and that's I've given this advice for a long time. Even if you're going to do your own DIY yard project, go hire a landscape designer to design it out and give you the plan of what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Spend the time, design it out. Even if you are destined that, nope, I'm not hiring a soul to do this. I'm gonna do this as my summer project for this year, next year, whenever you're gonna do it. Spend the money and get a plan made and have it designed out. It's going to pay for itself every single time, because you're now going to know what you need to do.
Or at least have someone like us come out, because we do consultations, and it's not a free consultation, but we charge $250. Okay.
Oh, that's reasonable.
For $250, I'll go out there, or one of my team will go out there and spend 2-3 hours with you, just talking about all the different possibilities. Give you a couple of quick sketches, thumbnail sketches on the back of a napkin, so to speak. Print you out a report about all these things that we talked about. And then it gets them, set up in the right direction.
Exactly.
But at least, we started this consultation idea, and a lot of people have just gravitated towards that because they're going to, get something out of it. And then what we do is if they give us the job, we back that money out. So we apply it towards their project.
That's a win-win scenario. Hey, when we come back, I want to talk about the trades with you, because I know this is something that you and I have done last time that we did this again. I want to talk more about training people, and we'll do that just as soon as Around the House returns.
real tough cooking with a long history. For breaking little hearts like the one in me. That's okay, let's see how you do it. Put up your dukes.
Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. This is where we talk home improvement every weekend. Thanks for joining us. If you missed part of the show, like the last 3/4 of this hour, make sure you catch us on the podcast, and you can catch that anywhere you listen to podcasts, or just head over to my website, aroundthehouseonline.com. Well, I've got Eddie Uyeta from Uyeta Landscape on the line here, and if you've missed part of it, make sure you catch that. Welcome back, Eddie.
Thank you much.
All right, man. Well, I want to talk with you about the trades because you do such a great job of training over there and with what you're involved in. And I can't just not talk about landscape and not talk about all the stuff you're doing to help people out.
Yeah. The trades, I think, have, taken a backseat to college because over the last 30, 40 years, I believe, everyone's, been pushed into college.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not people doing any of the trades that we, desperately need now. Over, this amount of time, you can tell that there's no more, there's less and less carpenters and roofers and siding guys and, granite guys for your kitchen. People that put all these things together. I mean, I'm back to the time where, that's what I think made America great.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to, give back to, the landscape industry by, going and reaching out to the high schools, getting out to the skill centers, and letting these kids know that there is a career in landscaping. We're not just a bunch of weed pickers, but there is a career. If you like working outside, you like horticulture, you can go that direction. And gosh, I mean, you start off on the crew, then you work your way up to a crew leader, and then you become an account manager, and then you work in an office, and so by the time you're 40 or 50 years old, you could be making upwards between 80 and 100K for something that you like to do.
Yeah, and that's great.
And on top of that, I put my efforts into an apprenticeship program, and that just got approved by L&I here, in our state. So
congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of work, but I think it was worth it because now that we're registered now with the state, I can start to have kids come in here on an apprenticeship program.
See?
And
that is awesome.
I think, it kind of opens the door for all those kids that, go to college for a couple of years, drop out, don't have any skills, but they like to work outside. They like to work with their hands. Yeah, I know it's hard work, and it's not as easy as, driving that drone, or,
playing video games all day. Yep.
Yeah, like for the military and dropping bombs on countries.
Yep.
It's not as glamorous as that, but you know what? If you like the horticulture industry, if you like to, to see the fruits of your labor and what you can create as far as a landscape skill, everything's got designed. When you see those Pinterest pictures and House magazines, you see all the nice landscaping that goes with these nice homes. Well, somebody had to do that. Somebody had to design it. Somebody had to be creative. And there's the opportunity. It's not just a job. It's a career.
Yep. You don't have $100,000 college debt. You get to come home every night, and you get to use your creative juices to help create a beautiful space.
Yeah. And so I'm just encouraging the kids, you got to make your own way, like my dad told me.
Yep.
And so here's an opportunity if you like, working in this industry. This is what it's about.
Exactly. And so can people get a hold of you there at Uyeta Landscape for that? Are you going to be rolling that back up again now that things are starting to gain some even ground?
Yeah, they're starting to open up a little bit. I just got registered last fall, so my apprenticeship program is open.
Cool.
We're a small company. I could only take a couple at a time, 2, 3 at a time at the most. And it's all about coaching these kids up, and it's meant for someone that has probably less than 3 years of experience. So, if you come in here with 10 years of experience, apprenticeship program is probably not going to be for you. But
yeah. But fill out a job application.
That's right. You can do that. And forget the apprenticeship side. You can just start making money right away.
Exactly. Absolutely, man.
Here's
That's
something
awesome.
that, you're probably going to, you're going to succeed in anything that you like to do.
Yep.
If you're just going, down the road for a paycheck, well, you're not going to. You'll be okay at it, but it won't be as fulfilling.
Exactly. Well, Eddie, thanks for coming on the show, man. And to find Eddie Uyeta and Uyeta Landscape and Maintenance, head to uyetalandscape.com. Is that the best place for them to find you?
Yep. Just check out our website, uyetalandscape.com. And all the information is there, contacts and emails and all that stuff is there. You can see the
pretty pictures,
some of the examples of our work and things that we do.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on the show again, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you much.
Stay tuned. We have so much more show ahead just as soon as Around the House returns.
If I could dream. Is your website losing you money instead of making it? Slow load times, outdated design, or a clunky mobile experience could be driving those customers away. At SiteHypeDesigns.com, we turn bad websites into high-performing, customer-winning machines. Our expert designers create sleek, fast, and SEO-optimized sites that don't just look good, they convert visitors into paying customers. Don't let a weak website hold you back. Visit SiteHypeDesigns.com today for a free website audit and discover how we can take your business to the next level. SiteHypeDesigns.com. Websites that work as hard as you do.
For our Around the House listeners, use promo code ERICG for a free website audit and a free half-hour consultation call.